Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm back at it again with another video. Timestamps are down in the description box below if you want to get directly into the Survivor Series review. Otherwise, take a trip with me real quick. So, I'm pretty sure the majority of you, not all, because some of you actually have fucking lives. That's why I sacrificed my time so you guys can go live your lives. But some of you might be familiar with this guy on Twitter. His name is AIR Gold or Air Gold, I'm not sure. He rides Tony's dick so hard. He is one of the biggest AEW marks out there. He is a ginormous AEW. When I say this dude is a ginormous fucking bro, your mouth is dark and Tony's dick can tell you what color this guy's tonsil is. That's how much he rides. Tony's dick can tell you what that guy ate last night for dinner and the week before that and distinguish it. That's how much he rides AEW's dick. He put out this post. Why is Tony waiting for WWE to change? Is he not supposed to be the alternative? Should he not be a trendsetter in this regard, rather a follower? Which I will give credit where credit is due. I've been talking about that for the longest in regards to AEW being a legitimate fucking alternative. So credit where credit is due. Does take away from the fact that this guy right here is the biggest AEW meat rider of all time. But this is the funny part. Dave Meltzer includes himself into this post. He says, mind you, listen to what this fucking delusional motherfucker says. He says, because he, that being Tony, Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, and I, as in Dave Meltzer, all knows where this leads. Either you play by the same rules or you get eaten alive by the side not playing by those rules. If you are in a fist fight and you say I'm going to be nice, I won't punch you in the face, and the other guy laughs at you and punches you in the face. You are creating a huge disadvantage for yourself. That's living in reality. This is fucking wild. So I'm trying to put two and two together because either A, he just completely revealed what we've all been knowing for the longest, that he and Tony Khan are in cahoots with each other, which I doubt that to be the case. I still think he gives Tony Khan advice here and there, and I'm pretty sure he has some input on the card, if nothing else, influence on the card, right? Most cards. But for this motherfucker, he put himself in Tony Khan. Now, never mind that Tony Khan, the fact it's already bad enough that he put himself in the same league as Tony Khan, as if he's the owner, unless, again, Freudian slip, and he's telling us something that we don't know, which we kind of do know, but let's pretend we don't know. He said him and Tony Khan essentially are in a battle with Nick Khan and Paul Levesque, Triple H that is. Or he's just saying he is amongst these guys, Tony, Nick, and Triple H, in regards to leading a company, having to fight people who are criticizing them. The fact that he's even putting himself in the same category with these guys is fucking mad delusional. When I say this guy is off his fucking rockers, he is off his fucking rockers. This is a goofy goober. He is the goofiest of the goofy goobers. Why would you say that, Dave? What are you doing, Dave? Do you think, Dave, do you really think that you're in the same league as Tony Khan, Nick Khan, and Triple H? Is that what you're alluding? I don't know what to do with this guy anymore, bro. I swear, when I tell you, I used to say that Tony Khan was the biggest lolcow. No. He ain't going around putting himself leagues above. Like Dave actually thinks he runs the company. Once again, unless this is a Freudian slip and he's telling us something that we don't know, that we definitely know, that we're going to pretend that we don't know. He is out of his fucking mind. He is absolutely out of his mind. I just felt that I wanted to tell you guys that, give you guys a bit of a glimpse into the mind of Dave Meltzer and his cobwebs of fucking theories and mazes in regards to how he perceives himself to be as an authority figure in professional wrestling. Let him have his moment. Let him have his moment. God damn it, he stands firm as a Spartan, stick down in the ground, yelling, "This is Sparta! This is the IWC! This is wrestling!" As he thrust kicks you into the oblivion called the Abyss. And we're not talking about Joseph R. Parks. Is it R? Whatever. My point being this, Dave, get the fuck over yourself. Get your head out of your ass. What is with these people in the IWC lately? I mean, first I got to the argument with Sean Ross Sapp, and he kept putting himself over, saying, "You need me, damn it! You need me! You need me in order to have clout. I have all the clout in the world. I am the biggest clout gobbler in the fucking world. You don't understand. My name is Sean Ross Sapp, and I am the most cloutiest of the clout people of the clout world." And then you have Dave Meltzer putting him in the same category, putting himself in the same category as Nick Khan, Tony Khan, and Paul Levesque. Get the fuck over yourself, people, okay? We're all a bunch of fucking irrelevant nobodies. In the grand scheme of things, I'm a mark, you're a mark, he's a mark, we're all marks. Hey, I'm a mark, he's a mark, you're a mark, we're all marks. Hey, sorry, good burger, sorry. But yeah, no, Dave, you're a nobody, okay? You're a nobody in the grand scheme of things. People in the IWC knows you, and that's like saying that you're, I don't know, the world's tallest midget, okay? You're like the tree that's fallen in the forest and no one's there to fucking hear you make a sound. No one knows who you are. You're irrelevant as fuck. You are not Tony Khan, you are not Nick Khan, and you are damn sure not Triple H. So, yeah, just felt like I wanted to discuss that. All right, Survivor Series, here we come. Let's go. WarGames. Man, am I the only one who sees matches like this nowadays? And look, I'm not knocking the match the girls went out there. They busted their asses. I mean, it was pretty sloppy in most of the spots, and they were just loud as a Bayley, especially. Like, God damn, was she loud. She was so fucking loud, bro. But at the same time, I'm gonna give her credit because the match wasn't bad. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying the match is bad. I'm just saying, like, you get to a point sometimes where you see all the choreographed stuff, and we see it all the time in AEW, you know, all the choreographed spots, all the choreographed moves. It does get to a certain point sometime where you kind of gotta take a step back, and you have to look at the stuff that you're doing, and you have to ask yourself, okay, we are still professional wrestlers when it's all said and done, right? Like, the idea when we actually have our matches is to, you know, make it look credible, make it look real. And I see matches like this, and then I say to myself sometimes, like, you know, and it's the same problem with AEW. Now, it's not as egregious with AEW, but it's still a problem in professional wrestling where it's like the wrestlers, they forget sometimes that they're supposed to have a simulated battle, that they hate each other, right? You're going out there and you're trying to, you know, beat the shit out of each other to win a match. And like, they get so lost in the sauce for trying to please the fans. You can do that without having to go out of your way, by making professional wrestling look super duper choreographed, right? Look, let's get directly into the match and you'll see what I mean, right? So Bayley and Nia Jax, they start off the match, right? And even from the get-go, Bayley is so fucking loud, bro. I can hear her calling for it. Like, there's a spot in the corner where, like, she's telling Nia to do something and she's calling for an elbow shot for a reversal. You know, like, there was a part where, like, she's beating Nia with her ring gear, and like, you can clear as day hear Bayley tell Nia to catch her or catch the knee pad or whatever she was whipping her with. It was again, there comes a point in time, man. It comes a point, if it's going to be that, like, hard to be able to call a match or call a spot or whatever, just don't do it, man. Nevertheless, though, nothing spectacular happened in the opener. Naomi did come out next, you know, looking retarded as fuck. I guess it's her birthday, so she has like a birthday hat on, just whatever. And she brings out a toilet seat, which, by the way, for the most part, did not really play too much into the match. And she also brought out a kendo stick. And, you know, I mean, I will say, you know, she did end up putting the toilet seat on Nia Jax's face, and then she gave her a stink face. Me praying to the Lord, I wish I was in Nia Jax's spot, but it is what it is. I mean, she was bouncing that ass up and down, all inside Nia Jax's face. Oh my God, that was... Wish that was me, though. But again, nothing spectacular has happened so far. Candice LeRae ended up coming out next. She had 2 chairs. There was a spot where like she laid Bayley on top of 2 chairs, and then she ended up hitting a lion salt. That was probably the high spot of the match up until that point right there. Bianca comes out next, and she has a trash can. She ended up throwing it at Nia Jax before she got back in the ring with a fire extinguisher, and then, you know, she then brought in the table. She ended up like shoving it within Candice LeRae's lower stomach into the corner, kind of like the Christian and Jeff Hardy spot from No Mercy in 1999. But Bianca, she's also loud as fuck. Bayley was the main one being loud as fuck. Bianca was loud as fuck too. You know, when she was doing chair spots with Nia, she was loud as fuck also. And then Tiffany came out next. She had a trash can lid, and she was hitting people over the heads with the trash can lid. There was this really cool spot because Nia and Tiffany, eventually they started doing a bunch of double team moves. They did like the old what was it the American Males? I think they did this move, right? Actually, I think the Street Profits does it too. The whole little blockbuster net breaker Samoan drop move, they ended up doing that. And I like this move a lot too. Tiffany ended up hitting like a backslide on, I think, on Naomi. And then while she had her in the black slide, Nia Jax came and she hit a leg drop on Naomi while she was in that position. I thought that was really fucking cool. And then Io Sky came out next, and she, for some reason, had a stupid... I mean, yeah, we get it, bro. You've been doing this for like half a decade now. The whole little trash can spot, we get it. You know what I'm talking about. But this time, you like, again, in my opinion, people can say whatever they want, bro. I thought Io was the worst one in this entire match. She was so fucking annoying, bro. I swear to God, she was so annoying. She comes out and she has like the fucking trash can, and it's painted purple and yellow. It's so fucking goofy, bro. It's so stupid. And then she's like climbing up the cage to get inside the ring, and she has the trash can hooked to her. And then Candice, like, she stopped her, and like they're going through all these. This is what I'm talking about. All this complicated bullshit, bro. All this nonsense that is so unnecessary. She ended up trying. I guess the announcer said that she was trying to go for a sunset flip powerbomb on Candice LeRae from the top of the cage to the inside of the ring. But she didn't. She just landed on her feet, and she didn't hook Candice's waist in order to complete the move. So it looked goofy. I mean, they went through these complicated fucking motions for at least a good minute or so. It looked so stupid, man. Bayley, she's loud as fuck again, trying to get everybody together to get the next spot ready. Raquel comes in next. She has a table. We did get a double powerbomb spot from Nia and Raquel, who were working together. They ended up doing the whole like the off there's a pain move with the power bomb to the back, and then power bombing. Nia and Raquel did that to Io and Naomi on top of Bayley and Bianca Belair. Nevertheless, though, next Rhea Ripley came out. She had her mask on. I guess that's the mask that was protecting her face out, you know, ever since the whole little stuff that was happening in the parking lot from NXT. I'm assuming that's what they're referencing because I haven't been keeping up with Raw. Nevertheless, though, she comes to the ring. She brings in a table, or the table that was out on the floor that initially Raquel was going to bring into the ring. Raquel tried to stop her, but then like she kind of like, I don't know, like kind of seesaws the table from the inside of the ring, or from the outside of the ring to the inside of the ring, and it caught Raquel right underneath her chin. I thought that was nice. All the heels eventually gang up on Rhea before Naomi comes with a double rear view on I think it was Tiffany, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Tiffany and not Raquel, but Tiffany and actually, was it Raquel? No, I think Tiffany and Candice LeRae, if I'm not mistaken, and so she hit the double rear view on in order to help her out. Liv comes out last, and while everybody is down in the ring, because Rhea ended up, because all the heels and babyfaces started taking each other out, and Rhea was the last one standing. Liv comes out of her cage, and like Rhea's standing there telling her to get in the ring. Liv gets afraid, and then she goes to the back, or that's how it looks like she's gonna go to the back. She doesn't go to the back. Eventually, she grabs a bat, and then she comes out to the ring with the bat. And like when she gets inside the ring, right? She gets in the ring. Eventually, the WarGames match actually starts. Rhea takes off her mask, I guess to reveal she's no longer injured. I'm not sure. There was really no point in that. But nevertheless, she tries to beat up Liv Morgan, which she was getting the upper hand a little bit before the Hills started to gang up on her. Liv then gets the bat and beats the dog shit out of Rhea Ripley with this bat, which again makes wrestling look so goofy, because if you actually beat the fuck out of someone with a bat in the manner of how Rhea Ripley was getting her ass whipped with the bat, that would break bones, possibly even kill somebody. I mean, she's hitting her in the back of her spine. She's hitting her in the stomach. She's hitting her in the arm. Just beating the dog shit out of her. Liv attempts to handcuff Rhea to the ropes before everybody starts coming inside the ring and they all start hitting their spots on each other and just destroying each other. Bayley, once again, still loud as fuck, telling everybody to get in the correct positions to start the next spot, which is this dumbass spot. I don't care what anybody says. I hate this spot. I thought this spot was goofy. I thought this spot was dumb. It makes professional wrestling look so fucking fake and stupid. Keep this shit over there on AEW side. Io Sky and Tiffany Stratton each get on opposite ends of the WarGames structure. And then Io puts the trash can on top of her head. She ends up hitting a moonsault, and for some reason, Tiffany Stratton is looking at Io, waiting for her to hit her moonsault. So at the same time, which wasn't even perfectly timed, because this always happens in professional wrestling when shit isn't perfectly timed in this manner, she ended up hitting the swanton, and then both girls ended up crashing on top of the people that were down in the ring, including their tag team partners. But this actually was probably the best part of the match, at least to me, as far as from a storyline standpoint. Tiffany, she's like going inside the trash can to pull out more weapons, and eventually she pulls out her briefcase, right? And she's staring down right next to each other. Nia and Liv Morgan, they're both right next to each other, laid out, and she has the briefcase in her hand, and the crowd is going batshit bananas because it looks like she's about to cash in her briefcase, right? And while she's looking down at Liv and Nia, Raquel is looking at Tiffany and she's like confronting her like, what the hell is she doing? Before Io Sky comes and she sprays Raquel with a fire extinguisher. Eventually, they get her handcuffed to the ropes, Raquel Gonzalez that is, right? And while they're doing that, they're all starting to fight each other till eventually Bayley and Io, they come face to face with each other, and I guess this is the first time they've actually met face to face since WrestleMania. I haven't been keeping up with Raw or SmackDown in the last 2 weeks, so someone can remind me if I'm wrong about that. But apparently, from my understanding, this is the first time I've personally seen them come face to face since WrestleMania. Excuse me, and I guess the audience thought the same thing too. And they were starting to confront each other before Nia got involved, knocked them both out. Liv then comes and then she attacks, she knocks both Bayley and Io out. And then while Bianca Belair was staggering, Nia attempted to put Bianca Belair on the table and then hit her with an annihilator through the table before Naomi came, and then they both powerbombed Nia Jax through said table. They went for a pin cover before Liv Morgan had a bat, and then she attacked Bianca Belair with the bat and Naomi with the bat, right? She goes to the opposite side of the ring to go take care of Rhea Ripley. She puts her on the turnbuckle and she attempts, because there's another table down on the floor, she attempts to hit the Oblivion off the top of the turnbuckle on Rhea Ripley through the table before Rhea Ripley reversed that and then hit a riptide off the turnbuckle on Liv Morgan off the turnbuckle right through a table, and then she picked up the win off of that. And like I said, you hear how I describe this match, and it's not as if that it was a bad match, right? I went throughout pretty much, that's like 98% of I might miss one or two spots, but pretty much the important spots, the things that matter, that's all of it. And it was just, I mean, honestly, it was not bad as far as it being action-packed, but it was bad in the sense that we get this shit all the time. The hardcore spots, the choreographed spots, it happens so much that it does take away, and it takes away the emphasis for what you're trying to get across, which is, I mean, you are angry at your opponent, right? In the end of the day, you are angry at your opponent. You do want to beat your opponent's face in. And I just never really got that. They were too busy trying to hit choreographed spots and trying to time spots perfectly and doing other goofy shit that it took away the emphasis for what should be happening in the match. Not to mention also, I don't mind them focusing on Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, but like, and I'm not trying to be that guy, because it's not as if I didn't grow up in the era where like Austin and Rock dominated, right? But at the same time, even then, bro, like you can count, people like to bring up Austin and Rock. They typically only went like this. I mean, you got WrestleMania, right? At WrestleMania 15, you got the match at Backlash, you got WrestleMania 17, and then they went away and they were pretty much like, you know, just special attractions before they had that match at WrestleMania 19. They really, even with Austin and Rock around that time, they didn't really go at it as much as everybody likes to, you know, revision them going at it like that. They really, really didn't. And it's like, you know, with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, it's like, I get it, they're in a feud, but like, did the spotlight have to go so much on them where it's like Rhea had to pick up the win and Liv had to be the one to take the loss? You know what I mean? Like, it would have been nice for some of the other women to shine. Maybe Tiffany could have got the win. Maybe Io could have pinned Liv or something like that. You know, just to kind of make a new competitor or a new contender or start a new feud or start a new rivalry. I mean, you put the spotlight right back on Rhea and Liv, and it's like, you know, again, I'm not one of those people where it's like, you know, I have a problem necessarily with focus on the stars of the roster. But at the same time, though, it's not as if you have someone who is super duper 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 fucking over at the moment. I mean, yeah, Rhea's over, Liv is over, but it's not like they're Rock and Austin or Cena or Hogan or anything like that over, right? When they get to that point, then yeah, I completely get it, but they're not at that point. So, you know, maybe, I don't know, shine a little spotlight on some of the other women. I don't know. It kind of gets a little bit stale at a certain point, you know, especially when it's two women who don't necessarily have anything going for them that's really spectacular. But maybe that's just my opinion. Overall, though, I didn't hate the match necessarily. I just did think to myself, I kind of groaned a little bit. There was a bunch of things that I did groan about in the match. And, you know, the way it kind of played out with the finish, can't lie, I did groan a lot during the match, but I'm very curious to see some of your opinions in regards to the match. I did think this was probably the weaker of the WarGames match from the last 2 years since Triple H has taken over. I did think this is the weaker of the three, but it's not to say that it was a bad match. They went out there, they busted their asses. I'm pretty sure some people kind of, you know, popped and reacted to some of the spots. For me, though, I liked it, didn't hate it. But it was definitely something that I could have lived without. But that's just my opinion. Let's keep it going because I'm already talking through the entrances of Shinsuke and LA Knight. So let's get to that and we'll continue on with the show. All right, that was a fine match. I like that match. I mean, honestly, Shinsuke Nakamura and his new presentation, I fuck with it a lot, but it's just one of those things when it comes to Shinsuke Nakamura that you're going to have to do a lot of rehabilitation in regards to making me give a shit about him. No matter what you do in regards to the optics and the aesthetic of his character, his entrance was cool. You know, he comes out with this mask looking like a fucking Mortal Kombat character and everything. I like it. Honestly, I haven't been really following up with SmackDown these past couple of weeks because it's all been pre-taped, and between work and it being pre-taped, I haven't really been watching too much SmackDown, but I have been keeping up with the clips on YouTube and everything, and I've seen the stuff with him and Andrade and the Mist in the face with LA Knight these past couple of weeks. So I'm going into this dark. Like I said with the fucking women's WarGames match in regards to the build to that. I'm familiar with the feuds. I'm familiar with what's been going on in regards to the story. But, you know, I'm going in pretty dark. So it's going to be up to them to tell me the story in regards to the match in itself. And this match right here, it wasn't anything really that special. The audience was kind of dead for the most part. The guys went out there and they worked as hard as they could for guys in their early 40s. But it didn't really hit that mark for me. It didn't really hit that point for me where I really thought that anything was really worth caring about, honestly. You know, it would have been nice to maybe see a missed attempt or something like that. I don't know. I mean, they just kind of went out there and had a regular standard match. Now, I will say the finish was somewhat kind of, I don't know, kind of brutal. I appreciate that. The reverse DDT on the, or the DDT on the fucking, not the reverse, but a standard DDT out of that suplex attempt from Shinsuke to LA Knight on the little metal piece that divides the ring. I appreciate that, and then him setting it up for the Kinshasa in order to get the win. I appreciate that. You know, I appreciate wrestling moves being done, and the wrestling moves that are being done actually ending the fucking match. I know, boom, boom! It's such a fucking concept. A finisher ending the fucking match. Boom! Oh my god, my head, boom! I'm exploding again with so much boom! Damn, it's like the Costco guys right now. But like I said, in regards to Shinsuke, you're gonna have to do a lot to rehabilitate him for me. That's just it. That's just is what it is. With all due respect to him, you're gonna have to rehabilitate him. And maybe when he gets to that, and mind you, this is a step in the right direction. He did win the United States Championship from LA Knight. I don't think that was pretty much shocking news, given his new character arc and what he's doing. But it's like, what do you do after this match? Who's going to be his next opponent? I can't get behind Shinsuke Nakamura knowing like almost every feud he sets himself up in regards to his mind to. You get him into this and then you inevitably pull it away from him. I want to get behind Shinsuke. I think Shinsuke's cool. I think if you were to actually integrate, and I've been saying this for the longest, this kind of applies to Asuka too. You know, hell, maybe you can even put Asuka and Shinsuke together. Not like some, you know, cliche couple bullshit, but they can be a powerful duo or something like that. I'd really appreciate that. You know, maybe get a Kira Tozawa in it too. I mean, if you're going to go the stereotypical fucking, you know, fucking Japanese lore bullshit, you might as well just go all the way with it, right? People are going to be like, what the fuck? I think you're fucking, what the fuck? T-Pain War Pigs? Is that a theme song? Okay, never mind. That just popped up on my screen. Should I have listened to that song? I feel like I should listen to that. T-Pain has a song called War Pigs. Okay, whatever. The Shinsuke, look, if you're gonna go this way, just go all the way with it. Is what I'm saying, right? Like, let's just get the Yakuza involved. I'm just saying. You might disagree with me. You probably disagree with me. That's fine. It's okay. I'm okay with that. But I'm just saying, in regards to what you're gonna do with Shinsuke going forward, that's all that matters at the end of the day. This match, step in the right direction, but all that matters at the end of the day, what's going to come out of his character in regards to this run with the United States Championship. One may even argue, does he even need the United States Championship? If it's integral into his story and in regards to his character, fine. And then the question gets asked, what about LA Knight? Where does he go from here? I mean, you pretty much just use his name value in order to get Shinsuke Nakamura over. Does it matter? Does it mean anything? I don't know. We'll see as time goes on how this prevails. But am I skeptical in regards to the booking of both people? Yes. Especially in the case of, you know, Shinsuke. At least LA Knight still has his mic skills, or lack thereof. But do I have confidence in them actually getting both of these guys to the promised land in regards to what they deserve to be based off of their credentials? Fuck no. It's 2024 and all that matters is kicks and flips, and neither guy can really do that right about now. At least not compared to their counterparts. But we'll see as time goes on. With that being said, let's say the triple threat match is coming up with Bron Breakker, Sheamus, and what's my boy's name again? Oh yeah, Ludwig Kaiser. Or Ludwig. I don't know. Which one is Ludwig? Is Ludwig this guy right here? Or is it the douchebag that keeps fucking sucking, Hassan Piker's dick? I don't know. Let's just get to the match, though. Let's go. Sheamus, Bron Breakker, Hassan Piker, dick sucker. Let's go. Yep, so that's going to probably be one of my top 10 best matches of the year so far. That match absolutely kicked so much fucking ass. And to be honest with you, I went into this match and I did not expect anything else different. I mean, you look at the competitors in the match, what else were you really expecting, right? Of course it was going to fucking kick ass. It's Sheamus, Bron Breakker, and Ludwig Kaiser. Like, look at the people involved in the match. What else were you fucking expecting, right? And they did exactly what I thought they were going to do. They went out there. They had a smash mouth type of match, very psychology based. Lots of punches, lots of strikes, no bullshit flips, no bullshit kicks. Just guys going out there being men, brute, beating the dog shit out of each other. Now, would I put this on par with the WrestleMania triple threat match with Sheamus and Gunther and Drew McIntyre last year at WrestleMania? Not quite at that level. I'm not going to go that far, but they still went out there and they abso-fucking-lutely annihilated it. They absolutely fucking killed it, man. Let me just say this real quick. Bron Breakker is a freak of fucking nature. I can't put him over enough. He's a freak of nature. He is the future of WWE. I cannot stress that enough. His presence is going to be felt for maybe a decade, maybe even 2 decades. He's so young still, man, and he has it in his blood. The athleticism from this guy, that fucking jumping double clothesline he did to Sheamus and Ludwig on the announcement table was fucking insane. That was fucking crazy. Even that shoulder block he did to Ludwig Kaiser towards the beginning of the match also, when he's just like fucking carelessly jumping through the air. To be a guy that big and just jumping in the air like that is so fucking scary. And it's not to say that Sheamus didn't carry his own weight also. You know, I like the shillelagh clothesline to Ludwig Kaiser over the barricade, and the 10 beats of the Baron, like when he was behind the barricade when Ludwig was over it. Sheamus did get a little bit of color, but it was more so because I think he busted up his nose. What you come to expect with these guys wrestling, right? If they ain't gonna get color from a fucked up nose or a bruise or a black eye or some fucked up teeth, then they did the match wrong, considering who the 3 competitors are, right? We did get a nice little spot also after Sheamus ended up taking Ludwig with the shillelagh clothesline over the barricade, where it was Braun Breaker and Sheamus, and they went in the match and they just started beating the dog shit out of each other, and they were just clobbering each other throughout the entire match towards the ending of it. But eventually Sheamus, he ended up, because there was a chair, let me go back a little bit too, because there was a chair in the corner that Ludwig ended up trying to use on both of them, but they ended up double Irish whipping him into the chair in the corner. But just going back a little bit forward, because I felt like I kind of missed that spot. I thought that was actually a pretty cool spot. We did get to a point where Sheamus and Bron just started beating the dog shit out of each other. Eventually Sheamus did get the upper hand, ended up even hitting Braun Breaker with a bro kick, and he almost won the match before Ludwig Kaiser came and he pulled the referee's leg from out of his leg, and then he went back. If you get the reference, you got the reference. And then eventually Ludwig, he went back in the ring. He tried to fight as much as he could as far as trying to insert himself in the middle of both guys, but to no avail. Braun Breaker ended up hitting him with a spear. Well, first Sheamus ended up hitting him with a kneecap right to the fucking face, tore this man shit the fuck up, just ravished this man. And he looked even cooler because that's when he kind of got the fucked up nose, or I guess his mouth or whatever was bleeding on Sheamus. Eventually Braun Breaker did ended up spear, because Ludwig, he hit Sheamus with, I don't know what he's calling it, but it's Velveteen Dream's old signature, the Rainmaker DDT. I think Leo Rush does it sometimes too, but he ended up hitting that move on Sheamus, and then Braun got up, and then he ended up hitting the spear on Ludwig, and then he hit a spear on Sheamus, went into a corner, and then he ended up hitting another spear on Sheamus in order to win the match, and he retains his Intercontinental champion. To no surprise, you see the two competitors in the match. He was pretty much only there for the most part just to help put them over. Well, those two were there to help put him over. And I like Ludwig Kaiser. His time will come. He has a good presence about him, and this match, if for nothing else, hopefully it gives him that type of aura where maybe he goes a little bit further. He kind of reminds me of a young Finley a little tiny bit. As time goes on, he'll get his shine. Right now it's all about Braun Breaker. They're preparing and setting him up for being the next guy for the next decade or two, so it only makes sense that he went over. But this match kicked so much fucking ass. I don't think I'm really doing it enough justice. You guys got to kind of go back and watch this match. For sure, easily 4 stars, and so far the best match of the night. I'm pretty sure, there's an opportunity for Gunther and Damien Priest to maybe outdo it, and I'm pretty sure the main event, if for nothing else, is gonna fucking outdo it, right? But yeah, we'll see how this goes throughout the night. But as far as these 3 guys go, they fucking killed it. They went out there and they did their thing, man. So kudos to all 3 men who participated in this match. This was great. This was fucking fantastic. I can't put it over enough, man. Like I said, not on par with the WrestleMania match from last year, but definitely stood out on its own. And I can't stress this enough, man. I can't stress this enough. 2 things I will say coming out of this. I think Ludwig, he still has time to cultivate whatever path he wants to go down towards, maybe eventually capturing the Intercontinental champion next year. And then you have Braun Breaker, who obviously is the next golden child. But Sheamus, I would like to see have his time in the sun also, no pun intended. But maybe eventually he can get his shot at a story for the Intercontinental Championship. You know what I mean? For me to be out of the scope and be out of the clue of what these 3 guys were doing on Raw for the past month or so, and to just understand their entire story just based off of their wrestling here tonight, it just speaks volumes, and it just says so much to a guy like Sheamus, who I gotta assume was doing the majority of the carrying of this match as far as calling the spots. I would like to see Sheamus get his time to shine a little bit, and if it means getting because I think the Intercontinental Championship is the only title he hasn't won yet that's available to him at the moment. If it means having him have a storyline for that belt going into WrestleMania next year and actually capturing the belt, I'm all for it. Just to, if for nothing else, reward him, because man, what a fantastic match. And I know he probably most likely did most of the calling for it. But like I said, kudos to all 3 guys in this match. They went out there and they fucking killed it. Good shit. So hang on, what's coming next? Oh, Gunther and Damien Priest. All right, so let's get to that. I'm kind of drained out already from the triple threat match, but I'll get my mind refocused for the World Heavyweight Championship. Not like I got a choice anyways. But with that being said, continuing on, let's go. I swear, fans sometimes can ruin the fucking match, bro. Not ruin the match necessarily, but man, I know I'm speaking from a glass house, right? But at the same time, goddamn, bro. When you got to that spot, was I the only one who thought to themselves, God damn, bro, I know, again, Glass House. But man, the whole fucking, when Damian Priest is on the turnbuckle and then he falls off, and it's clear as day that they're, you know, not setting up for an angle necessarily. I wasn't really expecting that, but they were clearly just in the motions of the, you know, the moves in itself, right? Clearly that was the whole point. The spot was Damian Priest falls off the turnbuckle, and you can hear the fans going, "You fucked up, you fucked up, you fucked up." And then I looked up in my top right hand corner and I recognized, oh yeah, that's right, they did say they were going to be in Canada. The Smarky is a smarkdom, right? Like, holy shit, between them and fucking Philadelphia and Chicago, you try to make which one is the biggest mark fucking city in the goddamn world. Actually, Canada's a whole goddamn country. But I like this match nonetheless though, right? Damian Priest having his arm worked on throughout the entire match. That was the story of the match, was Damian Priest's arm. I like the spot that I initiated too, when Gunther kicked the rope and like he damn near kicked Damian Priest's shoulder out of his fucking socket. That was wicked, and he just worked it the entire time. Damian Priest kept going back to he kept trying to hit the South of Heaven chokeslam, but he couldn't because his arm was fucked up the entire match, right? And then you get to a point where, and I don't know, did you guys catch this? And maybe I was the only one. Maybe I'm looking way too deep into this. But when Gunther locked in the Kimura lock, was I the only one thinking to myself, oh, okay, maybe I'm looking way too deep into this. Maybe this means absolutely nothing. But he did lock in the Kimura lock. And I was like, oh, wow, that's really, okay. Okay, is that foreshadowing? What is that telling anybody? Whatever. I digress though, right? Eventually, because it didn't end the match, they kept going on with the match, and him and Damien were still going back and forth. Eventually, you did have Gunther hit a powerbomb on Damian Priest for a 2 count, and they kept going back and forth. Eventually, Damien did try to get him on the turnbuckle, because he hit an enziguri kick early on in the match also. He got him on the turnbuckle. It looked like Gunther was going to, well, first it looked like he was going to go for a superplex, and then Gunther ended up not Gunther like he was gonna go for the suplex. Damian Priest like he was gonna go for a reversal with a South of Heaven chokeslam off the turnbuckle, but then Gunther blocked that also, and that's when we inevitably got the whole little double spot when Gunther falls on the mat and then Damien ends up on the floor. Again, that's the spot that I'm talking about, where the fans started going, you fucked up, where it's clear as day that we're just working the angle. Oh, and by the way, if you guys do care, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, they got an undisputed championship match that's going to be on that Saturday night's main event show in December. Just so you know, if you're curious as to why the fuck they're not having their match tonight, because I was damn sure curious about that. But nevertheless, though, we get back to the match. Also, I should mention too, Damien did have a triangle choke on earlier in the night also, but that's besides the point. They were working a very technical style type of match. Nevertheless, though, after that spot with the crowd chanting "you fucked up" and all that shit happened, eventually, while Damian Priest is on the floor, the referee was checking up on him, and Damien was saying, give him a minute, give him a minute. He went back in the ring, the referee that is, to go check up on Gunther to see what was going on with him. And that's when Finn Balor came out, and he hit the coup de grace from the stairs, because you can hear the crowd getting all ramped up. You know, they're making noises, they're looking towards the audience way to see who's coming out. It was Finn Balor. He ended up getting on top of the stairs, and he ended up hitting the coup de grace from the stairs onto the floor, right onto Damian Priest's stomach. And Gunther sees this, and he goes outside of the ring, and he kicks Finn Balor dead in his shit right in his face and knocks him the fuck out. He eventually throws Damian Priest right back into the ring, and he ends up hitting a powerbomb on him for the second time. He rolls him over, hits him with a couple of elbow shots to the face, and then he takes the arm and he locks it behind Damian Priest. And while the arm is behind his back, almost like a hammerlock, he grabs Damien and he locks him into a sleeper hold while the arm is behind him in a hammerlock position. And it's the injured arm, and Damien can't move. He can't move. He can't go nowhere. His injured arm is locked right behind him, and he didn't tap out. He passed out essentially, right? The referee rung the bell. He couldn't make it. His hand was down. He was out for the count. Gunther ended up winning the match, right? And I see Finn Balor out there, and he's mauling, but at the same time, he's happy that he got the job done. He's mauling because he got kicked in the face by Gunther. He's happy, though, because, well, he cost Damian Priest the match. And I thought this was a fine match also. Nice storytelling. Got straight to the point. It never really overstepped that point where I thought this was a classic, but it did its job. You know what I mean? I thought it was a fine match. I'm noticing a lot of style changes in WWE lately in comparison. Maybe I'm not saying that this is like, you know, a legitimate answer to AEW. It very well could be, or it very well couldn't be. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. But I notice how AEW is starting to go more in the direction of more of the high flying and, you know, the death defying stuff. And WWE, as you could tell from tonight, it looks like they're going more and more and more back to their roots in the whole brawling style. Not saying attitude era, but, you know, just kind of, you know, getting away more and more and more from that high-flying indie stuff, and they're starting to focus more on a strong style, minus the whole fighting spirit bullshit, but, like, you know, lots of knees, lots of elbows, lots of submission holds, lots of European. I think European style is probably the best way to frame how WWE is kind of going forward now. At least that's what it looks to me. I've seen it in the GUNTHER match tonight. You've seen it in the match with the Triple Threat. You've seen it also to a lesser degree with LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura. Not so much in the women's match, but you get what I'm trying to say, though, right? It seems like they're trying to distinguish themselves from AEW with a certain type of style that they themselves want to make unique to their own company, which I'm perfectly fine with. They have a lot of European wrestlers, and I favor more of the striking stuff, more so than I do ever the high-flying stuff, because it gives credibility to professional wrestling. That's just my opinion. I know people are like, well, Devontae, I mean, you have to have different styles and you have to have different things for people to like different flavors of ice cream, the whole cliche nonsense. I'm cool. I'm perfectly fine with my strong style wrestling, and I'm perfectly fine with my European style German suplex, uppercut you in the fucking face and knock your tooth loose, bloody in the mouth, punched in the eye type of matches. I like strong style, and well, not even strong style necessarily, because like I said, the strong style, it kind of gets taken away and kind of grouped in with the fighting spirit bullshit. Let's just say I like Smash Mouth wrestling. I fucking love it. Whether it's JBL all the way to Stan Hansen, I fucking love it. But this match, it was good. Got the point across. Maybe it's going to further more well, I mean, fuck, they're already separated, but maybe it's going to get, I mean, I got to assume sooner or later they're going to get Damien Priest and Finn Balor in some kind of stipulation match. Maybe a match is going to take place in that Saturday night main event show. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. But I am curious who's going to be Gunther's next World Championship competitor. So we'll get there when we get there. But solid match. And so far tonight, very solid show. Nothing that's like crazy good, but just a solid, smooth, just a nice show. And we still got the main event to get to. So that's coming up next. WarGames. Bloodline new versus Bloodline old. What's going to happen? Any plot turns? Any twists? Only one way to find out. Let's check it out. So that's it. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing's gonna come out of that. Like, I'm not saying that the match was bad, but that's it. You know what I mean? Like that's it. Okay. Okay. That's the path that they want to go down. Then I guess more power to them. I just kind of felt like this could have been so much more. I was expecting like a debut. I was expecting some toss and turns. I was expecting some cliffhangers. Nah. They didn't do any of that. They didn't. The closest you got to a cliffhanger was pretty much CM Punk saying, you know, Paul Heyman, you owe me a favor, but I mean, that was the whole deal already. Am I wrong? Like, that was the whole deal already. I'm not here to say that this was a bad match. Let me reiterate this one more time. I'm not saying that this was a bad match. I'm just saying, like, what really is the point of continuing the Bloodline story, right? I can't be the only one who's thinking this, right? Like, what's the point? Like what does Solo and the rest of them do after this? They didn't get buried. I'm not going to sit here and overuse that terminology, because that is an overused terminology. Buried is not the right word. It's just more so like pointless. I think that's the best word to use. Pointless. There's nowhere to go from here necessarily, right? I can't be the only one who's thinking that. Like, there's nowhere else to go. Look, we'll run down the match and then we'll talk about what I feel is, well, problematic, to be honest with you. I mean, unless they have somewhere. Here, let's talk about the match first, okay? So Jey Uso and Tama Tonga started, right? They pretty much did some generic stuff. Nothing really spectacular, honestly. Pretty average back and forth before Bronson Reed. He came out next, and he started throwing chairs in the ring. Jey Uso he picked up the chairs and he started throwing them at Bronson Reed's head. I mean, he got in a couple of shots, but eventually Bronson Reed did kind of deflect one of the chairs, and then he started to beat him up along with Tama Tonga. Next, Jimmy Uso came out, and surprisingly, oh my god, I know, fucking crazy, he didn't grab any weapons. He stood out the most from everybody for not grabbing any fucking weapons. Eventually, him and the Usos, or him and Jay, they started to team up together on Bronson and Tama Tonga. Eventually, while they were teaming up, the next person was going to come out. It was going to be Tonga Loa, but then everybody recognized, wait, no, the Usos have the advantage and you fucking suck. Let's send someone else. And that's not me saying it. That's not Solo saying it. There was some random guy. I know you guys heard him, right? The random guy in the audience, just randomly. The crowd it's kind of quiet, right, in the beginnings of the match, and all you hear is that random guy, Tonga Loa fucking sucks. I bust out laughing. It's not as funny right now, but when I first heard it, I bust out laughing. But Solo recognized that too. He heard that guy and he's like, you know what? You're right. Tonga Loa, he fucking sucks. Jacob, can you do me a favor and not suck? So Jacob Fatu went inside the ring, right? He destroyed the Usos. He did this one dope ass move. I've never seen this done before, where like I guess Jimmy was like kind of trapped in between the ropes in the cage, and like he ran to the cage, and like he did like a head spring, like a regular head spring, and then like he threw his body into Jimmy, and then he did the head spring, went backwards, and then did a moonsault on Jey Uso. I thought that was a really dope ass move. All the Samoans, they start to gang up on Jimmy and Jay, beating the shit out of him. They did another dope ass move too, where you had Bronson and I can't remember who was holding them up. I think it was someone can correct me, but I think it was Bronson and I think Jacob who were holding up. They were holding up Jey Uso like in a crucifix position, right? Kind of like, you know, like in a crucifix. They had both of his arms extended, and then you had Tama Tonga. He runs to the ropes, bounces off, and he shoulder blocks Jey Uso's legs, which flips him inside out, almost into a powerbomb position. It's very crazy how I'm describing it, but it was really, really fucking cool. I really dug that spot also. Next was going to be Punk. He was about to come up next before Roman Reigns. He put his arm out and he told Punk, "You're not going out to the ring. Sami is." Which Sami looked confused. He was like, okay, I see how this is going to be. Okay, I'm just going to go out. Okay, fine. He goes out. The crowd is hyped for Sami Zayn. They're talking him up and everything. Him and the Usos, they start to take out the Bloodline. Him and Jimmy, they eventually reunite. They do their cringe ass hand clap shake, and it pops the crowd even more. They shoot in the cage, and I swear to God, this is going to be a fucking meme. You have Roman Reigns on one side of the cage and CM Punk on the other side of the cage, and they kind of have like their hands in a bored expression. They're not looking at each other. They're just kind of like not acknowledging each other's presence inside the cage. That's going to be a fucking meme when it's all said and done. But eventually, Tonga Loa's garbage ass comes out next, and it didn't take long before he was botching shit up again. This motherfucker brought out a table and accident. How do you botch taking a weapon underneath the ring? This nigga sucks, bro. He took out the table and he was gonna bring it inside the ring, and he accidentally closed the cage door. Until like Jacob Fatu came over there and he opened up the cage door and he took the table from it because he's taking too fucking long. Like, dude, all you had to do was bring a table in the ring. How did you accidentally close the cage door? Because he's Tonga Loa and he fucking sucks. But regardless though, the heels, they have the advantage. Eventually, Roman Reigns was about to come out next, right? Before CM Punk just rushed right past him in the most disrespectful way possible. And Roman's just looking at there, looking like a bitch as CM Punk walks towards the ring. CM Punk eventually, he goes into the ring, and all the members of the Bloodline, they're standing there, easing him down. Punk goes underneath the ring and he grabs a toolbox. He gets in the ring, he starts attacking all the Bloodline members with it, beating the dog shit out of Tonga Loa especially, which I can absolutely get behind. Let's beat the dog shit. Let's beat that boy so badly we actually make him a good wrestler. My God. But eventually he did hit the bulldog on Jacob Fatu onto the toolbox before Jacob Fatu popped right back up and no-sold it and then hit a Samoan drop on CM Punk. Solo eventually comes out next, and like he takes all the Bloodline members, the original ones, the Usos and Sami Zayn, and one by one, all the members of the new Bloodline kept setting up their heads for Solo to slam the door into it, right? Eventually, the Bloodline, they go after CM Punk and beat the dog shit out of him to just destroy this boy. I mean, just fucking destroy him and the remaining members of the Bloodline, right? They go back to the Usos and Sami. They fuck them up a little bit too. They're all displaced all around the ring before they enclose on CM Punk. Punk looks around him. He sees all the members of the Bloodline circling him. He slaps Solo in the face, knowing, okay, well, fuck, if I'm gonna die, let me die like a G, right? He slaps Solo in the face before they all start beating the dog shit out of him too. Roman Reigns is getting ready to come out before Solo picks up a padlock and he locks the cage door and he starts to taunt Roman, saying, you can't get in here, you can't get in here. Only to realize, oh wait, there's no roof on the fucking cage. I mean, they didn't even play with this angle for not even, 5 minutes before Roman, oh yeah, that's right, there's no roof. I'm just gonna climb over the cage because you guys are dumbasses. And Solo Sikoa is the worst leader of all time. Eventually he climbs over the cage, gets inside. All the Bloodline members, they're impervious to common sense. They kept trying to stop Roman, but Roman was stopping them one by one, just destroying them, before eventually hitting a crossbody on all of them when he finally gets inside the ring. Roman eventually helps all the remaining Bloodline members onto their feet, except for CM Punk. CM Punk doesn't like that. He gets in Roman Reigns' face, and he starts talking shit to him. Roman starts talking shit to him back. All the members of the new Bloodline are on the opposite side of the ring. All the members of the old Bloodline are on this side of the ring. And Heyman comes out of nowhere, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, here we go. Now we got a cliffhanger, we got a story, a potential cliffhanger. We got a story. Okay, let's see where this is gonna go. Okay, baby, let's go, baby. I'm so ready, baby. And we'll get to that later on. But eventually, I'm thinking to myself, there's gonna be an angle that's gonna happen. Heyman essentially just tells them to put their differences to the side. Focus on the goal. We need to get through this match. And while each members of each opposing group are standing across the side of the ring, that's when the WarGames match officially starts. Everybody starts beating the shit out of each other. Everybody starts hitting their spots on each other. We get to a point, right, where Solo and Jacob, they were preparing for a Samoan spike. I don't know, I forgot what Jacob was preparing for, but they were pretty much preparing for their finishers, right? Before CM Punk and Roman Reigns, because they were going to do them both on CM Punk and Roman Reigns, because they already took out the Usos and Sami Zayn. Before they reversed it, and CM Punk eventually got Jacob Fatu on his shoulders, and Roman, he was getting ready to spear Solo Sikoa before Solo Sikoa dodged out of the way, and then Roman ended up spearing CM Punk, who had Jacob on his shoulders for the GTS by accident. Solo capitalized on this and hit Roman Reigns with a Samoan spike for a near fall. Jacob eventually tries to hit a Swanton bomb on CM Punk. They're all grouping in and ganging up on CM Punk now. Before he accidentally missed it, it looked like for a second, I couldn't tell if he was selling it or if he was like legitimately, hurt, because, he does have problems with his knee. But they did continue on with spots. I'm still not too certain with Jacob Fatu. You never know when it comes to him and his knee. So I hope everything is okay. It looked kind of random because they did go back on the attack for CM Punk, but hopefully it was just a part of the story. Roman eventually did hit a low blow on Jacob Fatu, and then he speared Solo Sikoa before taking a super kick from Bronson Reed. He set Roman up on the table for a tsunami splash off the top of the cage, and while he was going on top of the cage, he's like, Roman is there, he's knocked out cold. He's going for the tsunami, and as he's in midair, Punk pulls this motherfucker off the table a millisecond before fucking Bronson Reed legitimately was gonna crush his goddamn neck while he was standing up on that table. He was sitting up in a prone position on the table, and Punk pulled him off the table. Like, I swear to God, if Punk didn't pull him off if it was a millisecond shorter, fucking Roman would have got his goddamn spine realigned. Holy shit. Like, it looked like Punk came in a little bit late for that, but he got him just in time, though. While Roman is laid out and everything, well, Punk is laid out for pulling him off because of all the weight. Roman gets up, and he notices Bronson Reed is through the table, and he notices that CM Punk saved him. He offers a hand for CM Punk, and then Punk takes his hand, and then he helps him up. Solo comes out of nowhere with another near fall on Roman Reigns when he hits him with another Samoan spike after they were regrouping and they attacked both him and Punk. Eventually, they all start to do their moves again, and then the Usos, they get involved, and they hit a 3D on Jacob Fatu, right? Jimmy eventually gets on top of the cage, just like Bronson Reed, and he hits his Uso splash off the top of the cage, but unlike Bronson, he actually hits it on Jacob Fatu, which makes me think that Jacob might be okay, but then again, does it really take a knee to have to involve yourself in a spot like that? Again, I hope he's okay, but nevertheless though, Sami eventually gets the Usos back up on their feet, and he takes them on the other side of the ring, and he regroups with Roman Reigns and CM Punk, and he gets them back on their feet. All the members of the Bloodline are taken out, except for Solo Sikoa. And they're surrounding Solo Sikoa very similar to how they surrounded CM Punk earlier, and they're staring at Solo Sikoa, and Solo looks at that and he's like, I'm still the tribal chief, and it looks like he's going to attack one of them, maybe CM Punk or Roman, I can't tell, but then they eventually, just all do their finishers on him. They all just destroy the fuck out of him. CM Punk eventually hits him with a GTS and sets him up for Roman Reigns to hit the spear, and then Roman spears him, and then he gets the win, and that's the end of the match. And then they all start to celebrate in the ring. Roman, he eventually stares down CM Punk and he extends his hand, and then CM Punk shakes his hand, and then they leave the ring, and CM Punk goes there to Paul Heyman and he hugs him and he tells him, hey, I still want to cash in on that favor whenever I get the opportunity to. And they all go up on the top of the entrance ramp and they all start celebrating. They all hold up the wands before CM Punk kind of sneakily gets in the front of them and then does his whole little go to sleep pose, and it just goes off the air like that. And my thing is, it's not as if the match in itself was bad. I'm not saying the match was bad. What I'm suggesting is that I was kind of hoping that we would have gotten more out of the match. You know what I mean? I was kind of hoping that we could have got a special appearance. I was kind of hoping that maybe something would have happened with Heyman screwing them over so we can have a reason to want to watch SmackDown this week, because it wouldn't just be him screwing over Roman Reigns, he'd be screwing over CM Punk. There are a bunch of ways and combinations that I kind of felt they were going to go down the path on, but instead they just kind of went the safe route. That's my biggest problem with the match, is that they just went down the safe route. And it's like, damn, bro, like, you guys didn't take any risk. You guys didn't do anything for the show tonight. It's not to suggest that this show was bad. It wasn't bad. It was a solid show. It was just like, damn, bro, like, you guys didn't even try to create any angles out of anything tonight. You know what I mean? Like, nothing came out of tonight that makes me say to myself that I can't wait to watch Raw. Nothing came out of tonight that makes me say to myself I can't wait to watch SmackDown. The show in itself was fine in terms of like it getting the job done, and like in the scope, it was fine, but there was no cliffhangers. There's really no reason to want to watch the show coming up these next couple of days. Honestly, there's no reason to watch Raw, and there's no reason to watch SmackDown outside of, maybe out of habit, right? But it brings me to another point. Like I said, after this match in particular, where do you go from here? I keep suggesting that, and I'm going to keep asking that, because it's like, I was expecting an angle of some sorts to come out of this match. I was expecting something to happen coming out of this match, that maybe it could have been something on the lines of expanding the bloodline. Maybe it could have been something on the lines of maybe heat between Punk and Roman Reigns. Maybe it could have been something with Seth Rollins getting involved. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I honestly don't see the point in continuing the bloodline angle. What's really the point? Right? What's really the point for any of these guys to continue anything? They should all go their separate ways. Roman needed your help to get this job done. The job is done. Don't put back together the bloodline. Not when Jey Uso is still relatively hot and he's doing his thing at the moment, right? Don't do that. And in the case of Jacob Fatu and Solo and the Tongans, it's like, what's the point of you guys continuing? Like you did your job. You were supposed to do this, and you fucked up, and you fucking failed miserably. The only way I could possibly see this going is maybe Jacob Fatu turning on Solo Sikoa. That's the only way I could see this going where it makes sense. Solo, you keep saying that you're this kind of leader, you're this, you're that, and the third, and you're not really fulfilling any of your obligations. And then Jacob Fatu turns on him, and then he takes over the bloodline, and he keeps Bronson Reed in the stable. That's the only thing that I could see potentially happening that I'm okay with. Otherwise, nah, this is just a waste of fucking time. This is literally just a waste of fucking time. There's no reason to continue this, and that's a bad thing. Because if there's no reason to continue this, and there are some people who really need this angle to get over, and it's like, well, there's no reason to, right? So there is a side of me that is very curious to see where they're gonna go going forward in regards to what's the plan, especially coming out and going into the new year with the Royal Rumble not too far away. But then at the same time, it's like, damn, you didn't set up anything for me to think to myself. I mean, at least whatever happens is going to be a surprise, I guess. That's the takeaway from all this. But man, they did not do a good job setting up this week's show. And overall, like I said, I'll reiterate this one more time. The show tonight, it was average. It is what it is. Nothing spectacular, nothing horrible, nothing good. But in regards to story, especially, I probably would knock it off a point just simply because, well, shit, nothing happened. You honestly could have missed this show and read the results, and, well, that's all you pretty much needed for the most part. It is what it is, though. I am kind of bummed out about that. But, hey, they all can be winners, right? We got a nice WarGames match about 2 years ago with the, Sami and Kevin Owens stuff, and then we got the surprise with CM Punk coming back last year, and again, they all can't be winners, I guess, but it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below in regards to how you felt about Survivor Series tonight. What would you have done differently? Would you have done exactly what I said or done something differently? What the hell did I say? I don't remember what I said. I don't give a fuck what I said. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, my name is Devontae, aka Millennial Smart, and I'll be catching you guys later. Deuces and a P-eyes.